and Executive Director of USA Strong, Erin Elmore. And welcome to both of you today.
Now, you interviewed President Trump earlier today, Heather. What did that feel like?
Well, I mean, it was exciting to talk to him and give him an opportunity to talk with all of the Newsmax viewers and go through several issues that we all know have been on his mind because he's been sending out those press releases that he calls elegant to give his opinion on different things going on. But I thought it was specifically interesting the way we began the interview, Bob, and talking about the MLB boycott and whether or not we should boycott baseball. He finally came around and said, yeah, you know, maybe we should.
Ever got their act together, which they should. If we had some real leadership instead of Mitch McConnell and the group, if we had some real leadership, what you'd be doing is something much different. They'd be boycotting these companies and those companies would be coming. That's what the liberals do.
Well, it's just the appearance of wokeness, as we know. They moved this all-star game to appear to care about minorities. Well, if they cared so much about minorities, why didn't they appoint a commissioner of the MLB who was an African American? Because they've never had one. If they cared so much about minorities, why didn't they interview their minority players to get their opinion? They didn't do that. Instead, they moved it to a city in Colorado, which is over 90% white, from a city and a state that is over 51% minority. It is complete and utter virtue signaling with nothing to back it up. Also, I believe one of the MLB executives is a member of Augusta in Georgia. I think that's the golf club, right?
Yeah, well, I think that's the commissioner, the MLB commissioner.
Yeah, there's a little tournament going on down there this week. Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit of golf going on there. Did he say, forget it, I'm going to not be a member there anymore? Of course not, because they only do what sounds good politically. They don't put their money where their mouth is in any way, shape, or form. And honestly, it's sick, and I hope their chickens come home to roost.
Yeah, Heather, something that people may not be aware of, which
Coors. And where is the game now being played?
Coors Field
in Denver.
Coors Stadium.
Yeah, see, so there's that.
Full circle. I see what you did there.
With the All-Star game, you know, they were supposed to honor Hank Aaron and everything down in Atlanta this year and take that and they run with it. And then we look like we're the bad guys all the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, Erin, you agree?
Oh, I mean, without a doubt. I was also going to say, I was just in Colorado. I was in both Denver and Aspen. And let me tell you, their mask restrictions are serious. If you're walking down the street, you need to basically wear a mask. So what that leads me to believe is their stadium is going to have further restrictions. Their concessions are going to be further restricted. This is really a move that it's a nose cutting your nose to spite your face.
Spite your face.
They're going to be right. They're going to be far more restricted in Colorado with all of their white faces in the stands. That's what this is going to look like.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. One more thing I wanted to show. We have a little bit of time. The president, you talked to him about the border, Heather.
Well, I think it's great that they reversed themselves, but a lot of damage was done because we were going to have that wall almost complete. It delayed 2.5 years because of lawsuits. The Democrats sued us in Congress, many suits, and we won all of the suits, and we started building it, and we were almost finished, and then they called it into it. And
Erin, your comments on the border and the reversal, it would seem, at the border with the Biden administration, who still hasn't been down there, by the way, and I'm not quite sure where the vice president is because she was allegedly put in charge of it.
Yeah, she's too busy laughing about the crisis instead. Of course, no one says anything about that. But as a mother of a child who's school-aged, knowing that the schools in my home state of Pennsylvania have not been in school for a year, that we had to go to private school, and that is a lot of our hard-earned money. Money doesn't grow on trees. We work for our money, yet these children are getting a free education in person. And that's fine that they're getting an education. I understand this is good for these children. But the problem is the hypocrisy. The reason why they said our children can't get an education is it's not safe because of COVID. We need to keep our kids and our teachers safe. That is just a lie, and it's just hypocritical. Now I'm stuck paying more money for private school while they're just lying to us while these other children get an education, and I pay taxes. So it's disheartening. And I think why the president and vice president are having a change of heart is not because they care about the American people or even because they care about the migrants. They're seeing it in the polling numbers. Polling is showing them America is fed up with this open border policy.
All right. We're going to take a break here, come back with more of American Agenda. Meanwhile, folks, we have some breaking news. I've had mine. I have my card, but I got to tell you, Bob McEwen also joins us. And Bob, I'll start with you. Look, I don't mind taking my card in somewhere. If there's a restaurant owner or something that wants to make sure that I've had, I'm fine with that. But I don't want the government with too much information. It already has enough, right?
To a whole host of personal information being available to other people, and that was the primary concern.
Yeah, I disagree with Bob on this vehemently because I think this is such a dangerous, slippery slope. In communist China, they have a digital footprint everywhere you go, and it starts right now here in America with potentially a COVID pass, but then it can switch on to something else. Also, we already know that these corporations are an arm of the Democrat Party. So just to say, oh, this corporation wants it, no big deal. I don't think anyone in America should be forced to get vaccinated. I truly don't, because we know that this disease has a 99.8 or 9% survival rate. Sometimes, and we don't know, by the way, I'm a lawyer and I went to law school, and I remember studying cases. I think the drug was called thalidomide. They thought it was safe for a very long time. Well, spoiler alert, it turns out that it wasn't. This drug has not been fully tested, and I don't think it's something that I want to put myself through. I already had COVID. I was asymptomatic. I recovered. This is not something that you should be forcing upon the American people. That is not what America is founded upon. Yeah. It's absolutely wrong. It's absolutely terrifying. And this is not Nazi Germany. This is not communist China.
By the way, Erin, let me make clear. What I'm saying is, I don't mind if I go to a local restaurant, and if the restaurant, just to put his mind at ease, I don't mind showing him my card. Look, I got these shots. I'm good. That's why we're. But I don't want the government producing a vaccine passport. I don't want that.
You know, before we continue talking about it, let's dip into the White House right now, where President Biden is actually talking about vaccines. Let's listen. I believe that we have that. I was just told we were going to go to that. There he is.
Will be eligible to be vaccinated. But beginning April 19th, every adult in every state, every adult in this country is eligible to get in line to get a COVID vaccination.
Didn't know, Erin, if you had finished your thought. You don't want to show it to the local restaurant owner either, right?
No. I mean, I think it's just, and I'm not chastising you. I understand what you're saying, of course.
Oh, I've been chastised before, so no problem.
Well, I'm not going to stand in that line to do it. All I was simply saying that the lawyer in me thinks that this is a slippery slope.
Yes,
if
I
corporations
agree.
Start requiring this, if businesses that are, local start requiring this, there are HIPAA concerns. And by the way, as our great president just indicated, that in some underserved communities, how are you going to get the vaccine? So this could be seen as elitist, classist, and even racist.
Yeah. Go ahead, Derek.
You see, I was a little excited about Erin's point. And to Erin's point, a lot of folks, all right, they still don't have access. I was fortunate enough. I've had both my vaccines. Had the same individual. The same individual said, "Well, how do I know that they're going to give me the same vaccine that they give to the white person?"
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, I've probably eaten at more restaurants than anybody over the past year, and nobody's ever asked to prove anything. So I'm just trying to make others feel at ease. It's interesting. We kind of threw this topic at you unannounced, and it obviously is something a lot of people have emotional feelings about. Bob McEwen, and think that maybe that's what's up here. We see that there are two governors of blue states in this country that are having some tough times. We can get to Gavin Newsom in a moment, but how do you read this kind of effort? Is it that blatant, what Governor Cuomo, or do you think it's an honest, legitimate effort?
Well, it wasn't that long ago, just a few weeks ago, that we still remember when he was lecturing the entire world. He said that all of these people were going to die unless they had ventilators.
And when you look at the way these governors are treated in the media, the Democratic governors and the states of California and New York specifically, versus, a state like Florida.
It's ridiculous. And by the way, when that breaking news just popped up, I thought you were going to tell me that Governor Cuomo resigned because not one, not two, not five, but 10 women have gone on the record and indicated that he has engaged in sexual misconduct. So I didn't expect anything other than a resignation from him. He should have his tail between his legs, and he should really not even be in public office anymore. Because not only do we have the nursing home scandal, where so many people lost their loved ones who were elderly. But these accusations, and they're really mounting right now.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, that's New York. I actually left a blue state for the red state of Florida, and Governor DeSantis is seen as a hero down here. He has done such a great job handling the coronavirus. Our unemployment numbers are very low. We are doing great as a state. And by the way, everything that 60 Minutes said was false. Democrats in the state are coming out in favor of DeSantis. He didn't go straight to Publix. He used pharmacies first. And by the way, living in Florida and having been familiar with Publix grocery stores, his theory of getting in there and having the vaccinations there was a very smart, sound theory. They are in all kinds of neighborhoods. They are abundantly located through Florida. He should not have received any sort of criticism for anything that he's done, and 60 Minutes should be ashamed of themselves.
And everybody, even here, has always said, when can I go to CVS and get it? You know, or Publix or wherever it might be. So, Derek, we've got like 30 seconds if you want to wrap up this segment.
Young women, 10 young ladies who are now coming forward. And I was just as surprised as her. I thought the breaking news was going to say something that he's about to resign or step down.
Oh, yeah, right.
Not that he was going to put up an essential workers monument. That essential workers monument could have been put up years ago.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I said a monument to the people from 9/11. So that I don't have to stand this much longer. I just wanted to throw that in, Erin, because it bothers me. These corporations, I feel like, let the politicians work on stuff. You can have your input, but if you start objecting to every little thing, none of us are going to be able to eat or drink anything, because there's always going to be some political problem with it.
Listen, boycotts are a place to start, but boycotts are a great place to start, but you know what else I think we should do? Let's hold these corporations to the standards that they're objecting to. Like we said, MLB, you've never had an African-American commissioner. Why don't you disclose how many African-Americans you have working in the big teams and in all your offices? Coca-Cola, why don't you disclose your minority employment and what you're doing in the Atlanta area to encourage African-American education, African-American employment within your corporations? I think that we need to do just that. What they're complaining about, let's make sure that they're doing it too, because I know they go on social media and think that they're going to get these people to support them. They don't truly care about the community. They care about pandering to make it look like
that's right. Bob, you have a quick comment?
I just appreciate what you all said by bringing it out. Is we saw what CBS did to the governor of Florida, and in the olden days, they could do that and nobody could get access to the truth. But what
in the black community, a lot of folks, when Meghan Markle, when she first, came into the royal family, there were a lot of blacks over there. I saw interviews of mixed.
Derek, I hate doing this, but we are flat out of time. And we're going to have you back and have that conversation. I'm so sorry. Elmore, thank you so much. And folks, we'll be back with just a little more of American Agenda after this.